Hyperion by Friedrich Hölderlin. Part 2. Page 102 from the Willard Trask. Translation. Not to be born is past all prizing, best. But when a man has seen the light, this is next best by far, that with all speed he should go thither, whence he hath come. Book 1. Hyperion to Bellarmine. We were experiencing the last beautiful moments of the year, after our return from Attica. Autumn was a brother of spring for us, full of mild fire, a festival time for memories of sorrows and past joys of love. The fading leaves bore the rosy hue of sunset. Only the spruce and the laurel stood in eternal green. Migrating birds lingered in the clear air. Others swarmed in vineyard and garden, joyously reaping what man had left. And the heavenly light ran pure from the cloudless sky. The sacred sun smiled through every twig, the kindly one never named by me but with joy and gratitude, the sun that with a look has often healed me in deep sorrow and cleansed my soul of discontent and cares. We visited all our best loved paths once more. Diotima and I. Vanished blissful hours met us everywhere. We remembered the past May. Never, we said, had we seen the earth as it was then. It had been transformed. A silver cloud of flowers, a joyous flame of life, purified of all grosser matter. Oh, all was so full of pleasure and hope, cried Diotima, so full of unceasing growth and yet so effortless, so blessedly quiet, like a child playing on and on without another thought. In that, I cried, I recognize the soul of nature, in that still fire, in that lingering in its mighty haste. And how dear it is to the happy, that lingering, cried Diotima. Do you remember? Once at twilight, we stood together on the bridge, after a hard storm, and the red mountain stream shot away under us like an arrow. But there beside it, the forest stood in green peace, and the bright leaves scarcely stirred. We felt so glad then that the living green did not flee from us too, like the brook, and that the beautiful spring stayed for us like a tame bird. Yet now spring too is over the hills and away. We smiled at that. Although sorrow was closer to us, so was our own bliss to depart, and we foresaw it. Oh, Bellarmine, who shall dare to say that he stands fast, when even the beautiful thus ripens to its doom? When even the divine must humble itself and share mortality with all that is mortal. Hyperion to Bellarmine. I had lingered before her home with the lovely maid until the lamp of night shone into the peaceful twilight. Then I returned to Notara's dwelling, full of thoughts, full of seething, heroic life as always, when I left her embraces. A letter had come from Alabanda. Things are stirring, Hyperion, he wrote to me. Russia has declared war on the Porte. They are bringing a fleet into the archipelago. The Greeks are to be free if they rise and help drive the Sultan to the Euphrates. The Greeks will do their share. The Greeks will be free, and I am heartily glad that at last there is something to do again. I took no pleasure in the light of day, so long as this remained undone. If you are still what you were, come. You will find me in the village before Coron as you come by the road from Mistra. I live beside the hill, in the white house, at the edge of the woods. I have broken with the men whom you met through me in Smyrna. You were right, with your finer sensitivity, not to enter their sphere. I long for us to see each other again in the new life. Until now you have seen the world as too evil for you to let it know you. Because you refused to perform servile tasks, you did nothing. And doing nothing made you morose and dreamy. You refused to swim in the swamp. Come now, come, and let us bathe in the open sea. It will do us good. O you, whom alone I love. So he wrote. For a moment I was aghast. My face burned with shame, my heart seethed like hot springs, and I could not stand still. Such anguish did I feel at being outdistanced by Alabanda, outdone forever. But then I all the more eagerly embraced the work before us. I have grown too idle, I cried, too fond of my ease, too remote, too inactive. Alabanda looks into the world like a noble pilot. Alabanda is diligent and searches the waves for booty. And do your hands sleep on your lap? Would you make do with words and exorcise the world with magic spells? But your words are like snowflakes, useless. They only make the air darker, and your magic formulas are for believers. But the unbelievers do not hear you. Yes. To be mild at the right time is a fine thing, but to be mild at the wrong time is ugly, for it is cowardly. But, Harmodius, I will match thy myrtle in which the sword lay hidden. I will not have been idle for nothing, and my sleep shall be like oil when flame touches it. I will not look on when the time is at hand, will not go about asking for news while Alabanda earns the laurel. Hyperion to Bellarmine. Diotima's increasing pallor as she read Alabanda's letter pierced my soul. She then began calmly and earnestly to advise me against the step, and we said many things for and against it. "Oh, men of violence," she cried at last, "who so quickly go to extremes, think of Nemesis." "He who suffers extremes," I said, "is right to go to extremes." "Even if it is right," she said, "you were not born for it." "Or so it seems," I said, "but I have dallied long enough. Oh, would that I could load an atlas upon me to make good the sins of my youth. Is there consciousness in me? Is there endurance? Oh, let me, Diotima, here, in just such work must I gain it." "This is vain pride," cried Diotima. "Not long ago you were more modest. Not long ago when you said, 'I must still go away and learn.'" "Dear sophist," I cried, "then we were talking of something entirely different, to lead my people to the Olympus of divine beauty, where truth and all goodness gushes from springs forever young. I am not yet fit to do that. But I have learned to use a sword, and for the moment that is all that is needed. The new union of spirits cannot live in the air. The sacred theocracy of that beautiful must dwell in a free state. And that state must have a place on earth, and that place we shall surely conquer." "You will conquer," cried Diotima, "and forget what for. You will at the most force the establishment of a free state, and then ask yourself, what have I been building for? It will be consumed, all the beautiful life that was to have being there. It will be exhausted even in you. The savage fight will tear you to pieces, beautiful soul. You will grow old, blissful spirit, and weary unto death. You will ask in the end, where are ye now, ye ideals of youth?" "It is cruel, Diotima," I cried, "thus to reach into my very heart, thus to hold me fast by my own fear of death. By my highest joy in life, but no, no, no. Servitude kills, but just war brings every soul to life. It is casting the gold into the fire that gives it the color of the sun. It is breaking fetters that first gives a man all his youth. It is arising and trampling on the adder, on the crawling century that poisons all beauty and nature in the bud. That alone saves a man. I shall grow old. Shall I, Diotima? Setting, grease-free, growing old and miserable, become a common man? Oh, then was he too shallow and empty and forsaken of the gods, that Athenian youth, when bearing news of victory from Marathon, he came over the peak of Pentelicus and looked down into the valleys of Attica. My love, cried Diotima, oh, be still. I will not say another word. You shall go, proud man. When you are thus, I have no power over you, no right to you. She wept bitterly, and I stood before her like a criminal. Forgive me, divine maid, I cried, kneeling at her feet. Oh, forgive me when I am compelled. I do not choose, I do not reflect. There is a power in me, and I know not if it is myself that drives me to this step. Your whole soul commands you to it, she answered. Not to obey one's soul oftentimes leads to destruction. Yet, obeying it does too. It is best that you go, for it is nobler. Act. I will bear it. Hyperion to Bellarmine. From then on, Diotima was strangely changed. I had seen with joy how, from the time we loved, her silent life had opened into looks and fond words, and her inborn quietude had often met me with shining enthusiasm. But oh, how strange the beautiful soul becomes to us, when after its first blossoming, after the morning of its gorse, it must rise to its high noon. The blessed child had grown almost unrecognizable. So sublime and so sorrowful had she become. Oh, how often did I lie before that divine morning figure and thought that I should weep my soul away in grief for her, and then myself rose up in admiration and filled with unconquerable powers. A flame had ascended into her eyes from her full heart. Her bosom, teeming with longings and sorrows, had become too confining for her. That is why her thoughts were so glorious and bold. A new greatness, a visible power over everything that could feel, ruled in her. She was a higher being. She belonged to the race of mortals no longer. Oh, my Diotima, if I had thought then to what this must come. Hyperion to Bellarmine. The prudent Notara, too, was enchanted by the new projects, promised me a strong following, hoped soon to occupy the isthmus of Corinth, and there take Greece, as it were, by the handle. But fate decreed otherwise, and made his work useless before it achieved its end. He advised me not to go to Tina, but to travel directly down the Peloponnesus, escaping notice as far as possible. I was to write to my father on the way, since the cautious old man would more easily condone a step that has been taken than give permission for one that had not. This was not quite to my taste, but we are prone to sacrifice our private feelings when a great goal is before our eyes. I doubt, Notora continued, if you will be able to count on your father's help in a matter of this sort, so I shall give you what you will need in order to live and work for a time, come what may. If you are ever able to, you can repay me. If not, what was mine was yours as well. Feel no embarrassment about the money, he added with a smile. Even Phoebus's horses do not live on air alone, so the poets tell us.